This is Markin Out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Follow on Twitter. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Marking Out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Brennan likes fisting. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. We're marking out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans.
Welcome to Markin Out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. This is episode 768 of the only Markin Out podcast that you should be listening to and subscribing to on all social media platforms and wherever else you are listening to your podcasts, such as on Spotify. Give us a follow and a like. You can like us over on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram at MarkinOut11. Follow us on TikTok at MarkinOut. Follow us on X at MarkinOut. You can also buy a t-shirt, Markin Out, over at ProWrestlingTees.com/MarkinOut. You can follow me, Dave the Rave, on all social media platforms at DavidPTDPT. Follow Chris at CMSweeney85 on Instagram. And and Chris Sweendog over on X. You can follow Brandon at BTTG161 on all social media platforms. That being said, Brandon, how are you?
I am doing awesome as always. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic over here. Just a bit exhausted. Ready for the weekend and ready to get some of that SLEEP. Please. How was your week? What'd you do?
I did absolutely nothing. Nothing of note, I should say, and not anything compared to your week. So, in reality, how was your week?
My week was very, very good. It was long. It was tiring. But it was all incredible. I actually went to Kansas City for a conference. And I got to tell you, it was such a blast. It was incredible. Went to Q39 for some barbecue. I did see, I think it's called Gates, but we didn't get barbecue from there. From what I hear, I have to go there next time. And it was just awesome. The barbecue was very good. One of the nights I couldn't do barbecue, and I was already so full that I just got some chicken tenders. In honor of Dirty Dom. So I got some Dirty Dom tendies down in Kansas City. No barbecue needed that night. And yeah, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun, very enjoyable. Some of my friends went to the Kansas City Chiefs game, but I opted out of that.
What?
I did get to go to Union. Yeah, it was on Sunday afternoon, Sunday noon. So I wasn't going to leave early. I mean, I wasn't going to leave late. I had work on Monday anyways. And then, let's see, also went to Union Station, which was really cool. Actually, somehow we ended up getting locked in the staircase at Union Station, which is actually hilarious.
Is that a train station?
We thought that, yeah, at the train station. We thought that there was an exit to get to the restaurant that we want to go to. So we followed the directions and we walked through the door. It led us to a staircase, and we thought like it was going to keep on leading us. So we went through, and the door closed behind us, and we were locked in the actual staircase. So two of our members went ahead to go see if there was a way out down yonder, and they had to get helped out of there. And then me and my other friend. Actually, well, she called up the front desk, the hostess, to come open up the door for us. In reality, we all should have just stuck together. But, yeah, we split, and that may have not been the best idea. But, yeah, we got locked
Every
in.
horror movie ever says don't split up for the... Well, every horror movie, you do split up. But if you watch a horror film, you realize don't split up.
No, it was... I saw the picture that Emily sent of where they were, and it was this hallway, and I'm like, yep, nope, I've seen those hallways before. This doesn't end well for anybody. No, not But it did end well. It did end well, for the record.
It ended with barbecue, I assume, right?
Huh?
I said it ended with barbecue, I assume, right?
No, actually, we were on the way finding a restaurant, Austrian food. So I got some schnitzel while there. So we went to
like
this
a famous
Austrian
thing in Kansas City.
I don't think so. It was just something
Little
different.
Austria
So
or
we went to this Austrian place. I forgot what the name was called, but it was actually really good. Very good.
Nice.
But yeah. So that was how we made it through our week. Before we go into Monday Night Raw, I think we do have to bring up, unfortunately, the passing of Mo from Men on a Mission. Good old M.O.M. Yeah, very unfortunate to hear about his passing. Men on a Mission, Mabel and Mo was an awesome, fun tag team. You know, you would sway your arms side to side as they would come to the ring. And yeah, unfortunately, he passed away. So our thoughts and condolences go out to his family and friends.
Yeah, it wasn't a lengthy reign or anything, but they did win tag team championships in 1994. He went on to become an original member of the Nation of Domination in USWA. His last match for WWE was a dark match in 1997, and something that I think is actually pretty cool is that the WWE Vault released Men on a Mission's tryout match as Harlem Knights. It was a match from 1993 against Mike Bell and Tony DeVito. Very unexpected to see, but I think it's a cool way for them to pay tribute to Mo. And a lot of wrestlers and fans paid tribute to him and spoke about how kind he was and how much he helped them in the wrestling business. And it's always great to see and hear those kind of stories and see how someone's kindness could affect somebody. Mm-hmm. Especially in a business that doesn't always reflect that. Yeah. So, like you said before, our condolences go out to his family, his friends, all the fans around the world. Moving over to Monday Night Raw, it kicked off with Adam Pearce. He was in the middle of talking when an SUV pulled up with the Vision. That being Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. Braun Breaker had the World Heavyweight Championship around his shoulder. They made their way out, and Adam Pearce said that Seth Rollins is out after he had major surgery. So this time, I guess it's not a farce. He does, unfortunately, appear to have been injured.
I don't know what to believe anymore.
It could still be kayfabe, but I'm going to assume that it's not. So
yeah, like I want to say that it's kayfabe, but I really don't know what to believe anymore.
There's just no end game if it's kayfabe. He doesn't have a Money in the Bank briefcase this time or anything. He had to vacate the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, that's so true. You know,
and
I agree
Adam
with
Pearce
you that
announced
if it's his. Mm-hmm.
He announced the new champion will be crowned at Saturday night's main event. It's CM Punk, who was the number one contender, versus whoever wins the Battle Royal later on Monday Night Raw. So we'll put a pin in that. But Braun Breaker at first refused to hand that championship over. And he made Adam Pearce, show him respect. And then Paul Heyman was the one to actually hand the championship over to Adam Pearce. It was a very, very interesting segment there with Adam Pearce and the Vision. And then the Vision go on. Paul Heyman asked why everyone's mad at them. Which, to me, this was kind of like major breaking of kayfabe almost. And he also said that the Vision had nothing to do with Seth Rollins. He didn't leave Roman Reigns. He didn't betray CM Punk because of Seth Rollins. He did it because Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are the Vision. It was never Seth Rollins. So, I thought it was a very interesting start to Monday Night Raw. I like that they gave that backstory as to why it really never even mattered that Seth Rollins was there. It was always
I
them.
agree with you. I think yeah, I agree with you. I think that it was a great opener for Monday Night Raw, especially with the explanation and more backstory and understanding as to the vision and everything that took place with Seth Rollins. I thought it was perfect. It was very well done.
The first match of Monday Night Raw saw AJ Lee pick up the victory over the Judgment Day to become the new tag team champions. I liked when Dragon Lee almost made the tag when JD McDonough was posing, and then JD McDonough realized that Dragon Lee was about to get that tag, so he pulled him away. Although AJ Styles ended up getting in the ring to make sure Dragon Lee was able to get that tag. I wasn't expecting to see AJ Styles do that. To me, that's kind of like heelish. Even though it's like also a very face thing to have done. But JD McDonough stopped that momentum by pulling the ropes on AJ Styles when AJ did get tagged in. And when we came back from commercial, there was a Dragon Lee hot tag spot. So I thought that was very weird because we literally just saw him being in that position where he needed to tag out. Outside of that, I thought this match was very entertaining.
I think that's really, I don't know, I think that's kind of like crappy, but Judgment Day only had one title defense in their entire title reign.
Which that's very on brand for the Judgment Day. It's always, it was excuse after excuse basically as to where or when they'll be defending those titles. So I do think it fits, but I really hope we see this be like a lengthy reign. I don't know if it will, but I wasn't expecting the outcome of this match. When Finn Balor raked AJ Styles' eyes and AJ hit JD McDonough with a move, I thought AJ was going to attempt to pin JD McDonough there, and then maybe Finn Balor off of that would get the victory. But AJ hit the phenomenal forearm on Finn Balor. JD McDonough broke it up at the last second. I think that was maybe the clip that, I'm almost certain that was the clip WWE posted. It was literally 2.999 seconds or something like that. But
yeah, it was very close.
JD hit that moonsault. Finn Balor hit the coup de grace. Dragon Lee then broke it up at the last second by flying over JD McDonough to do that. I thought that was awesome. And then Finn Balor tried for the Styles Clash, but AJ Styles got out of it. He hit him with the Styles Clash. New tag team champions, all thanks to Dominic Mysterio, kind of, because he was the one that suggested, put the idea in Adam Pearce's head. So I'm all for this team. Yeah. They were backstage pondering names. They were like, we can't use AJ Lee. But that is, what else can we realistically call them? It's just there.
It's only fitting that they are AJ Lee.
LaFoxione Phenomenal or something. I think can't really do that, but
no. But you mentioned Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio actually had the next matchup as he picked up the victory over Rusev to retain his Intercontinental Championship. Once again, Dirty Dom. Dirty Dom.
Yeah. And he starts the match off by
and everything.
He started off by diving onto Rusev before the match even started. And then eventually Dom tried to leave after getting out of an accolade. And Penta showed up to stop that. Penta ends up getting knocked over during that. And Rusev punched him. Dom tried to do I didn't even see Dominic get the hammer this time. But he tried to do that 619 with the hammer in the boot. Rusev caught him. And then he went to use the hammer himself. The referee took that away. Like you said, Dominic low-blowed Rusev. He hit the 619. He hit the frog splash. Gets the victory there. And then Penta attacked Rusev. So we already pivot away from Rusev and the Intercontinental Championship. My fingers are still heavily crossed for John Cena taking that title from Dominic.
That would give him the Grand Slam, right?
Yeah. He needs it. I think,
don't know.
he needs that. Sheamus also needs
That would
it.
definitely be interesting.
So my fingers are crossed.
I'd be-
San Diego, perfect spot. Hometown for Dom. Survivor Series, why not?
Yeah,
I don't need to
it's
see
true.
John Cena in a War Games if that's what they're setting up. I don't think they are setting that up, but I certainly don't need to see that. Would it be cool?
Yeah.
Sure, but don't need to see it.
Of course. Yeah, I agree with you.
After that, we saw Maxine pick
next-
up the victory over Becky Lynch via disqualification, so Becky Lynch retains the championship. I think it would have been awesome if Maxine won the championship, but we saw Becky Lynch control a lot of this match. Maxine did reverse the manhandle slam. She rocked Becky Lynch with that kick, and she locked in that ankle lock, which got turned into the disarmor, which she got out of, into another ankle lock. We've been seeing that from Maxine whenever she's wrestled recently. The crossbody spot had me believe for a quick second that was going to be the end of the match. But Becky Lynch went to leave with the championship. Maxine stopped her. The sunset flip spot had me believe in Maxine as well. But
That was a great spot.
Becky Lynch, like I said, she used that championship to get that DQ. She beat Maxine down afterwards. I was expecting it. The crowd was chanting it. It came out apparently she's on a book tour. Everyone I thought was expecting AJ Lee. So that didn't happen. I have to assume it's going to eventually lead to AJ Lee taking that championship from Becky Lynch. So
It's very possible.
I think that's where it has to go. But later on, Becky Lynch got in Paul Heyman's face, and Paul explained himself about Seth Rollins, and he said there's still a vision that includes you. And Becky Lynch was like, you're going to regret that or whatever. But I thought that was very interesting that Paul Heyman still, in his vision, it was never Seth Rollins' vision. It was Paul Heyman's vision. Becky Lynch is included in that. That's intriguing. But she doesn't, obviously, she's not going to want that, I guess. It was also weird because we see her being this heel backstage in that Paul Heyman segment. To me, that's all face. Even if she's a heel.
True. It would be interesting to see what happens with her now. How she plays factor. You know.
I think that's it. I think they just had to do that little bit, but I don't think we'll see it again.
Next up, you had Stephanie Vaquer pick up victory over Roxanne Perez. A non-title matchup, but it was a lot of fun, this match.
Raquel got involved behind the referee's back. She caused a little distraction later on in the match as well. The springboard spot with Roxanne, where Stephanie Vaquer pushed Roxanne Perez over the top rope onto Raquel, I thought was absolutely crazy. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody do like from that setup before. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. But
yeah, I know a lot of people were talking about this spot where Vaquer tried to jump through the springboard off of the top rope, and it looks like she may have slipped a little bit, and she sold it as her knee. Hopefully, I haven't seen anything about it to follow up, but hopefully it was just a selling.
Yeah, I don't know. She took both of them out, and she hit the Angel's wings to get that victory. And then that's when Raquel attacked Stephanie Vaquer. Nikki Bella made the save. But yeah, like you said, she was limping. I really hope that's not anything.
Yeah, I hope not. You know?
Backstage, you saw Lyra Valkyria talking to Adam Pearce, which Bayley cut it off and said that she has a birthday surprise for Lyra Valkyria next week. And Lyra's like, well, why? You could just tell me now. And Bayley refused to do that. I don't know what that possibly will be. I don't know if that'll maybe be she got them tag title match or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. Also, before we talk about the main event, Adam Pearce earlier in the night ended up taking the Vision out of the Battle Royal. They were supposed to be part of it. Paul Heyman told the Vision, because of Adam Pearce taking them out of the Battle Royal, Paul told them a story about Brock Lesnar and how he listened to Paul Heyman, and within 5 months, he won that championship from The Rock at SummerSlam 2002. And then he told them the story of CM Punk winning the championship and listening to Paul Heyman having that record reign or whatever. Roman Reigns also listening to Paul Heyman and having that record reign as well. So I think a lot of people, myself included, would have thought that Braun Breaker was going to win this main event spot. But Paul Heyman, being that storyteller he is, I think that makes sense. Like, yes, you are going to get that championship, but just hold on. Listen to me. You'll get there. We'll get there. Will it be before 2026? I don't know. But in the main event, we saw Jey Uso win the number one contenders battle royal. You had Ivar, Grayson Waller, Kofi Kingston, the Judgment Day, AJ Lee, Rusev, Alpha Academy, El Grande Americano was there, Jimmy Uso was there, Penta, LA Knight, Sheamus. CM Punk actually did commentary for this. I thought that was a nice touch. But Ivar, my favorite spot from this match, Ivar getting eliminated by Sheamus. That air raid onto the apron, I thought was crazy. But
that was a cool spot.
Sheamus ended up getting taken out by the Judgment Day after they were eliminated. Kofi Kingston also helped out in that elimination. So he ends up brawling to the back with Finn Balor and JD McDonough. AJ Styles, by the way, Dominic Mysterio just watched the Judgment Day basically get taken out. AJ Styles tossed Dominic out. The referees did not see it, so he got back in. Jimmy helped Jay multiple times in this freaking match. And then Jay eliminated both LA Knight and Jimmy at the same exact time. So it came down to Jey Uso. It came down to Dominic Mysterio. I really, really wanted to see either LA Knight or AJ Styles in that spot.
I know. I don't like Jay eliminating Jimmy as well.
That just makes
off.
sense. Given everything that they've done recently, it just makes sense. That's exactly why I don't need to see them in a War Games. They're not on the same page. Even if they might be on the same page, they're coming out, tag team entrance, they're passing babies, high-fiving fans and stuff. They're coming out to Jay's music. They're not coming out to the Usos theme song.
Yeah, you made reference to it last time.
Yeah. So,
to me it made sense, but now it could definitely play into the storyline a lot more.
So we have Jey Uso versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event. I would have to assume it's CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, how is that not the time to give that championship? Put that championship on LA Knight. What are you doing?
I think that, I don't know, maybe LA Knight has to be a heel for the win?
I don't know. I don't think so. He's one of the most over people.
So,
they were so pissed off when he got eliminated.
I know.
So that's Monday Night Raw. Moving over to NXT, which opened with the culling and Tatum Paxley celebrating becoming number one contender. She put over her friendship with the fans. She mentioned hopefully winning that championship. And then Fatal Influence came out. JC said that Tatum doesn't stand a chance at Halloween Havoc. And then Tatum Paxley told JC that of everyone in NXT, she should know exactly what it's like to be put in her spot the most. And then she stated that she will become champion at Halloween Havoc. Fallon Henley said that she hopes the culling doesn't leave Tatum when she loses, which Izzy, she stepped up and stood up for Tatum Paxley. That I was not expecting at all.
Yeah.
And she mentioned Fatal Influence kicking Jasmine Nix out of their group without actually mentioning Jasmine Nix. But then Tatum Paxley issued a challenge for later on. That was the main event, so we'll put a pin in that. But they ended up brawling in that spot, so it set up the main event match. The first match we saw, though, we saw Leon Slater pick up the victory over Stax to retain the X Division Championship on an episode of NXT.
And this matchup was awesome.
2025 is
Leon
fantastic.
Slater is so incredible.
Yeah. You saw Ariana Grace get on the apron at one point, and Leon Slater accidentally knocked her off into the arms of Javon Evans, which I thought was a great spot. And I thought that was going to like directly lead into the end. But the match, it kept going. Leon Slater was still in what I would say full control. And he ends up winning with that 450 Swanton. The bigger part, I mean, I don't want to say that the X Division Championship wasn't like a big part or anything. But we saw Leon Slater and Javon Evans lay out a challenge for Halloween Havoc to any tag team, anybody who wants to wrestle. And we saw Mr. Iguana and La Parka show up to accept that. The crowd popped big time for Mr. Iguana's music.
He's so over.
And something that's absolutely insane to me, for the first time in 36 years, somebody named La Parka is going to be competing at Halloween Havoc. How, when WCW had Halloween Havoc, how did La Parka never wrestle at a Halloween Havoc? That's
weird.
mind-blowing to me.
That explains their booking right there.
I mean, so I'm looking forward to that match. The next match here, we had 2 speed tournament matches. Jasper Troy picked up the victory over Zachary Wentz to advance in that speed championship tournament. You had Los Americanos sitting ringside doing, I guess, gathering intelligence for El Grande Americano. Zachary Wentz, I think, controlled the majority of this match. And against a guy like Jasper Troy, I would say that was very surprising.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think that it was definitely surprising, but then Jasper Troy, once it came down to the clock ticking, he just picked it up a beat. And Zachary Wentz, I think he may have overestimated his high-flying abilities against Jasper Troy, because that's what really caught up to him, because Jasper Troy getting just rocking him a few times, hitting with the shoulder block, and then rocking him with that black hole slam. Yeah, very impressive victory. And then Axiom versus Sean Legacy. Talk about coming down to the last seconds.
This match was so much...
Did you get nervous at the end?
No, but actually... This match was so much more
Did you
even.
Get a little...
It was so much more even than Wentz and Troy. And it's so weird that match wasn't in favor of Jasper Troy. But yes, I thought Sean Legacy was going to be the one to win this match. But Axiom hit that Spanish Fly literally at the last second.
Oh. Yeah, like if he stayed up, like he got the pin at what, 2 minutes left, 2 seconds left.
About that. That was like, oh my God, are they gonna make? are they gonna run out, or what's gonna happen here? But like I said last week, it's very difficult to not see Jasper Troy being the one to go on to face El Grande Americano. Once they get to that match, I don't know what's gonna happen there. Maybe Axiom will actually pull it out. So, I mean, even here, I expected Axiom to lose, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
You had a promo from Dark State, a vignette of sort, play from them, which was interrupted by the Hardys. And we see them walking the Hardy compound. We see Senor Benjamin. We see Rebby. We see all his children. And then we get to the Lake of Reincarnation, and they jump in and they become broken for the first time on a technicality, for a first time in WWE. And it leads to a broken rules match. Yes, we've never seen the Broken Hardys. We've seen Woken Matt Hardy.
That's crazy.
We've never seen Broken Matt, because that wasn't their entity, if you will.
Yeah.
So I know there are some people who are like completely over the Broken Universe. I think it fits so perfect for Halloween Havoc. I'm looking forward to this. It's been a bit since we've seen the Broken Hardys. So, and like I said, it's the very first time we've seen that in WWE. I'm hoping we hear Obsolete at Halloween Havoc. We heard it in the video package, so I'm looking
I think we
forward
have
to
to
that.
after hearing it in there.
Hopefully we'll get a
Right?
special entrance there. But after that, we had Sol Ruka come out, and she was on crutches. She announced that she won't be good for Halloween Havoc, and Ava was like, you don't have to do this. So it seemed like Sol Ruka was going to vacate the titles. But Blake Monroe came out and said that she's there for the title, just like basically hand it to her. And Zaria's like, you don't deserve to just be given that championship. I can defend that title for Sol Ruka. I don't know how Ava is really allowing it.
I didn't get that either.
It's not the first time we've seen instances like this. We have seen, I mean, one of the most famous moments, although Edge was in the match as well, Kelly had a World Heavyweight Championship match. Kelly technically defended that World Heavyweight Championship when we were at SmackDown. So it's not like out of like, it's not completely unheard of. I don't know if Sol Ruka is actually injured here, though, with how they're talking about it. Like, oh, you don't have to vacate the titles. We don't know how long you'll be out. On SmackDown, Charlotte Flair had taken Sol Ruka's leg out. She locked her in the figure 4. She locked her in the figure 8. And then she limped off, so it could be storyline. I don't know. But that segment...
I mean, do you kind of see... Do you see this turning into maybe Zarya turning heel?
That's what I don't know. Like, we saw Blake Monroe trying to attack Zarya. Zarya, she took Blake Monroe out. And then she snatched that North American Championship from Sol Ruka to hold it over Blake Monroe. That leads me to even more so think it's maybe a storyline. So there's so many different directions that they can go. Like, oh, Zarya defends the championship. She wins the match and retains it, and then refuses to hand it over to Sol Ruka. She loses that championship, and then that breaks Sol Ruka and Zarya into a feud.
I thought more so that she loses the championship to her.
Given that Zarya came out on top, you would assume that Blake Monroe is walking out with that North American Championship.
Yeah, exactly. It's very possible with all of that.
We shall see.
Next up, you had
I said, we shall see.
Yeah. Next up, we had OTM pick up the victory over Hank and Tank. Yeah, it was the return of OTM, and I gotta say, I'm still very impressed with them. I'm also impressed with Hank and Tank, too.
Hank and Tank attacked them during their entrance, but I think obviously they were losing. It was an even match for the most part.
OTM had to pick up the victory.
Yeah, OTM, they just came back. They needed that win. They continued the attack afterwards. They put Tank through the table. The fans cheered. I don't know why the fans were cheering. I thought we were going to see somebody come out and make the save there. I don't know where this is leading to at all. I don't want to see OTM take those titles from the Hardys. Private Party, I'll get on board for. OTM, I don't need to see that. No offense to OTM.
I don't know if I would see OTM go directly at them that fast. You think?
I don't know. That's what I don't understand where this is leading to. Any of those teams on that in that number one contender match made no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, it's tough to call it.
Main event.
Next up, you had Fatal Influence pick up the victory over the Culling in the main event of the evening. This was one heck of a tag team battle.
Yeah. Tatum Paxley winning that Battle Royal last week, I think really almost, in the beginning of this show and at the end of the show the other week, it didn't seem like Izzy was like a face or anything. But when she stood up for Tatum Paxley and then went into this match, I feel like it really turned Izzy Dame face by having Tatum win that Battle Royal. I thought that was very interesting to see that aspect of this. Fallon Henley was the one to push this to a match. And it was JC teaming with Laney Reed. There was a rumor that Fallon was injured as well, but she got physical in this match. So she can't be that injured if she was actually in this match and like taking physical spots. And this was a fun match. Fallon Henley at the end, she caused the distraction, which led to JC Jane getting that win. They attacked Izzy Dame afterwards. They then surrounded Tatum Paxley. Everyone's chanting for Lyra Valkyria, but Tatum Paxley took them all out by herself. And then before,
I was a big fan of this.
Yeah, and then before she could take out JC Jane, they took her out of the ring. So I went from thinking we'd have a new champion next week to, or this week I should say, to thinking we won't have a new champion. But my fingers are still crossed that we will have a new champion.
I think we're going to have a new champion, but we'll save that for predictions.
Okay. Well, NXT closed.
Next up, you had
with the NXT contract signing for the NXT Championship. Trick Williams, Ricky Saints, they went back and forth. I think Ricky Saints did very well on the mic here. But ultimately, which Trick Williams, I think, also did very well on the mic here. I think
both of them were great on the mic during this segment, no?
Yes, very much so. Like Trick said, Ricky Saints is cosplaying to be Trick Williams, and nobody can replace Trick Williams. Ricky Saints was furious at Trick Williams. I forget what exactly the comment was, but it was about the indies. And this turned physical. Trick Williams went through the table. What am I to believe there? I don't want to see Saints lose that title right now.
I don't think he is.
Maybe they did both of those back-to-back segments the way they did them, so we would think we're not getting a new champion out of Tatum Paxley, and maybe Trick Williams, as per wrestling rules, Trick Williams will beat Ricky Saints for that title.
That is very true. But I thought that Ricky Saints really held his own during this contract signing, which I liked a lot.
Yeah.
Especially because of the size difference. You know, you can easily write off Ricky Saints when going toe-to-toe against Trick Williams. But I think for me, it's hard to predict the winner of this one.
I just based off that outcome it is. But we have Halloween Havoc coming up this weekend. Prescott Valley, Arizona at the Findlay Toyota Center. I feel like there can't be that much going on in Prescott Valley where they have what is it? Is a G League basketball team, I think it is, for the NBA. Big scandal for the NBA this week, by the way. Tell me that doesn't prove NBA is fake, huh?
I know. They should have just done the Michael Jordan route and just gone to baseball.
Oh, I thought you were going to say become a cartoon. Or hang out with cartoons or whatever.
They could go that route, too.
But
I mean, they do have V-friends.
But yeah, we have Halloween Havoc. We have a tag team match. We spoke about it before. Javon Evans and the X Division champion Leon Slater teaming up against Mr. Iguana and La Parka. I think it has to be Javon Evans and Leon Slater winning that match. But I think that's probably the match I'm like most looking forward to because I think it'll be the most fun.
I agree with you. I think that this is going to be the most fun out of all of the matches. I think that Evans and Slater are going to pick up the victory, but then after you'll get the handshake of respect from Iguana.
We might get a dance battle or dance break or something. I don't know. With La Parka, I would assume the chances for that.
Is he going to come out with the chair?
I don't know if he actually uses the chair anymore. I don't know or anymore. I don't know if he ever did for
now,
this
which
run.
Laparca is this?
This is the third Laparca.
This is not WCW Laparca.
No,
he's retired,
he's
right?
He's not retired. He's LA Park wrestling. I think he did wrestle recently-ish for AAA, but he's done MLW recently-ish. I don't know what he's doing now.
Okay, so WCW Laparca is now LA Parka.
No, LA Park.
Laparca is somebody different.
Yeah, this is the third Laparca.
Gotcha.
The second Laparca, who had a longer run as Laparca than Laparca, unfortunately passed away. So, But yeah, this was the third, the reborn version for AAA more recently. But yeah, I think Javon and Leon Slater take this match.
I agree with you. Let's go on to the NXT Women's North American Championship matchup. Zarya defending against Blake Monroe. I'm going Blake Monroe.
See, that's, I think, more difficult for me to pick than Trick and Ricky Saints.
You think?
Yeah. I'll say Blake Monroe just because that's what it seems like will happen. Ethan Page taking on El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. for the defending the championship, the North American Championship, in a Dia de los Muertos match. I'm also looking forward to this match too because I assume it's gonna be like a street fight with a bunch of Day of the Dead themed weapons. I do also think Ethan Page is gonna win, but in that promo leading to this match, he had half his face painted. I hope we see that in this match. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I do think that Ethan Page is going to pick up the victory. I'm interested to see what they're going to be doing with it being a Day of the Dead matchup too. Singles matchup. Actually, let's go to the singles match. NXT Women's Championship on the line. Chasey Jane defending against Tatum Paxley. I'm actually going to choose Tatum Paxley.
Yeah, man, my fingers are super crossed. I'm going to say Tatum Paxley as well. I hope. I really hope.
I mean, you talk about somebody that has, I guess, earned the respect and done it right now. You got to go with her.
This is her first singles PLE match, too.
Wow. Would be huge for her to get that win.
Do we think Ricky Saints and Trick Williams is the main event?
I think so.
Broken Rules match. NXT Tag Team Championships on the line. The Broken Hardys taking on Dark State. I think the Broken Hardys have to win this match. Again, this is one of those matches that could be exactly like Day of the Dead. I don't know what goes into a Broken Rules match specifically.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that the Broken Hardys do pick up the victory. Dark State, I can't see them carrying the championship again. Or at least not now.
Ultimately, I do have hope that we see Private Party debut.
All right.
They sat in AEW and did literally nothing. So I hope we see them again. For the NXT Championship, Ricky Saints defending the title against Trick Williams. Ricky Saints.
I'm going with Ricky Saints as well.
So that is our predictions for Halloween Havoc. Moving over to SmackDown. It opened up with Cody Rhodes. Backstage, actually, he met up with Jimmy Uso before going to the ring. Cody asked him about Jay, and Cody said that he gets it, but Jimmy needs to do what's right for him. Cody went to the ring. He addressed Drew McIntyre and hitting him with the championship and said that it's not like him to have done that. And then Drew McIntyre came out. He said the crowd's brainwashed by corporate Cody. Drew said that he didn't attack Jacob Fatu, something he said last week, and then said maybe it was Jimmy who did that. Cody cut him off, challenged him to fight again, and then Jimmy Uso came and attacked Drew McIntyre. And then the MFT showed up for their match, so that ended that segment. But backstage, Drew McIntyre was yelling at Nick Aldis about getting this under control. Jimmy Uso ends up attacking McIntyre again. And then that leads to the main event. Nick Aldis set up a no DQ match, so I'll put a pin in that. The first match, we saw the MFTs pick up the victory over Rey Fenix and Shinsuke Nakamura. They worked well together as a team, first-time team. I didn't expect them to win, but I enjoyed this match. Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga got involved, which led to Tama Tonga getting that victory. After that, Tiffany Stratton picked up the victory over Kiana James. It was nice to have a match like this with Kiana James, because part of me felt like it was just going to be over a lot sooner than it was. But SmackDown's been having matches like this, so maybe it's on me for thinking that. And they did do a good job at making it look like Kiana James could win this match, but there was no way she was winning this. Julia ends up attacking Tiffany Stratton afterwards. Jade Cargill came out, made the save, and then she attacked Tiffany Stratton. I wasn't expecting that, like, at all. Tiffany Stratton, when they had the arms raised up and everything, Stratton accidentally dropped the championship. Jade Cargill went and picked it up for Tiffany Stratton, handed it to her, still celebrating. Boom. Takes her out. And that went on for a while. I was very, very surprised by that. Afterwards, you had Ilya Dragunov pick up the victory over Aleister Black to retain. I'm glad that we didn't lose the open challenges. Sami Zayn beforehand spoke about John Cena passing that to him, and now he's passing it on to Ilya Dragunov. This was honestly like one of those like NXT UK, NXT Dream matches between Aleister Black and Ilya Dragunov. Zelina Vega got involved a few times, which all the time she got involved, Aleister Black got the upper hand off of. The referee eventually did kick her from ringside. Damian Priest showed up with a burnt eye, and that allowed for Dragunov to finally get the win over there. I would really like to see that ran back on a premium live event without commercials or anything. This was a very, very entertaining match. I was very happy watching this. And then Damian Priest attacked Aleister Black afterwards. Zelina Vega made the save by jumping on Damian Priest's back and ripping at that burnt eye of Aleister Black. So we're getting more of that feud. And then Carmelo Hayes was interviewed backstage. He put The Miz over. That's, to me, an unexpected thing to have heard. But he said that he had to do what he did last week because Miz put his hands on him. So in his mind, they're even. Kit Wilson interrupted, and he said that what Carmelo Hayes is saying is poisoning the children's minds, and that sets up a match for next week. Backstage, we have the tag team champions. Accept Bayley's invitation to Monday Night Raw. She had posted it on Twitter, so ignore my speculation when we spoke about Monday Night Raw. It's now confirmed that they're going to be there. And then Nia Jax interrupted and spoke about friends stabbing friends in the back, alluding to Alexa Bliss doing that to Nia Jax. It set up Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss for next week. I thought it was a good segment with Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, and Nia Jax. And I'm glad that we're going to see the champions on both Raw and SmackDown next week. Main event saw Drew McIntyre pick up the victory over Jimmy Uso in a no DQ match. This match, it didn't do anything for me. I think I would have enjoyed it if I was there live. I will say I didn't expect that. I didn't expect for Jimmy to put Drew through the table. And when Jimmy went for that Uso splash, Drew McIntyre ends up throwing a chair at him, rocks him with the Claymore, and gets the win off of that. And then, which the ending for me, I think, was the best part of that match. But Drew McIntyre continued the attack afterwards, basically telling Jimmy that it wasn't him who took out Jacob Fatu. Cody Rhodes ran down to brawl. Maybe it was Randy Orton to actually take out Jacob Fatu. Drew McIntyre came back and took out Cody Rhodes. That was an unexpected part of SmackDown as well. So that is SmackDown. I'm going to take a quick little break, and I'll be right back here on Markin Out.
Yo, it's your boy JTG, and you're listening to Markin Out. Wait for it. Wait for it. Cheer!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Markin Out episode 768. Moving back to AEW WrestleDream. I did not watch this, but I will run down the results. You had the Death Riders pick up the victory over the Conglomeration. You had Eddie Kingston and Hook pick up the victory over the Frat House. I don't know how much that does for Eddie Kingston and Hook. Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale picked up the victory over Top Gods. FTR picked up the victory over Jet Speed. This was a hot topic because it ended on the pay-per-view. It started on the kickoff show and the hour hit. Pyro goes off in the middle of the match. It was right out of a WCW book. They did this in TNA from the BTI to an episode of Impact with Josh Alexander and TJP, if I'm not mistaken. But for a pay-per-view in 2025 doing that with all the pyro, I don't know how I feel about that. But I didn't watch, so why should I have an opinion? You had Jamie Hayter pick up the victory over Tekla. I think Tekla needed the win more. You had Jurassic Express pick up the victory over the Young Bucks to win $500,000. The Hurt Business beat the Demand in a Tornado Trios match to become the number one contender, so I'll put a pin in that. You had Kyle Fletcher pick up the victory over Mark Briscoe to retain. Chris Statlander beat Tony Storm to retain. Mercedes Moné picked up the victory over Mina Shirakawa to become the interim Ring of Honor Women's TV Champion. I feel like they overhyped this match for it to have just been Mina Shirakawa. But Chris Statlander came out afterwards. They ended up brawling, and I feel like that is just beyond lazy. Because they either don't have enough women to book a proper women's division while also having tag team championships, or more likely, they can't book women. They literally did this with Mercedes Moné and Tony Storm 3 months ago. That was All In, which I think maybe suffered severely by only having that match instead of 2 matches for the title. For each championship. They had the Casino Gauntlet for women on that card, but that went nowhere with Athena. And then Athena, I'll put a pin in that. You had Bro Dito pick up the victory over the Don Callis family to retain. You had Hangman pick up the victory over Samoa Joe to retain. Then the Ops attacked Hangman after the match. And then the main event saw Darby Allin pick up the victory over Jon Moxley in an I Quit match. All the Death Riders got involved. Jon Moxley tried drowning Darby Allin in a fish tank. He had skewers stuck through his fingernails. Sting ultimately returned, helped Darby Allin out, and Darby won with the Scorpion Deathlock. I think that, from what I saw, that was a dud ending. And I could have only had hoped for that to have been like the end of Darby Allin versus the Death Riders, but I will put a pin in that. Dynamite opened with the Ops picking up the victory over the Hurt Business to retain. You had Samoa Joe and the Ops beat the hell out of Adam Page. Why is this the follow-up for that? And then to make matters worse, Ricochet got involved. So you think Ricochet and the Demand are done after their 900 matches with the Hurt Business. Here it goes continuing. Speaking of continuing, Darby Allin came out afterwards. He said that he'll die for AEW, and he said that as long as the Death Riders are there, he's not done with them. So I Quit literally means nothing. The match, he won the match for literally no reason. He didn't do in his mind, he didn't do his job. So that's unfortunate. And I'll put a pin in that. You had Jamie Hayter and Queen Aminata pick up the victory over Penelope Ford, Megan Bayne, the Triangle of Madness, and Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale. They, because of that, got to pick their opponents for the tag team title tournament. This match got to be chaotic. I liked when Willow tossed Penelope Ford into Megan Bane's arms, and then Megan Bane tossed Penelope right back at Willow for a cutter. I thought that was nice. But in the end, Jamie Hayter tags herself in, and then she and Queen Aminata took Penelope Ford out. I think that was a very obvious outcome, and I feel like this is a stupid choice, but Jamie Hayter picked the Triangle of Madness as their opponents in the tournament. She could have picked anybody. It could have been enhancement talent. But I think the Triangle of Madness are the two that need to win the tag team championships. And I also think Tekla should win the women's championship from Chris Statlander. And then just have the three of them have a very lengthy run as champions. You had the Mercedes Moné Championship celebration. Despite just losing the previous match, Minnie Monet showed up instead of Mercedes Moné, which pissed Mercedes off, and then she ends up shoving the puppet's face into the cake. She grabbed Harley Cameron from under the table, and it turned out that Chris Statlander was also there. So that led to Mercedes getting put through the table, and the cake. Every wrestling segment with cake ever, except for maybe one, always gets that cake ruined. And then Athena showed up later on to pitch them being tag team champions, her and Mercedes Moné. So they announced the tournament. You have Queen Aminata and Jamie Hayter taking on the Triangle of Madness. You had Willow and Harley Cameron taking on Mercedes and Athena. You have Alex Windsor and Riho, who teamed up once last month to take on Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa. Megan Bane and Penelope Ford taking on Ty J. That's the whole division. At that point, I'm shocked that Chris Statlander's not in it. So that's a very poorly booked women's division. They can't balance the AEW Women's Championship. They can't balance the TBS Championship. They can't balance having the Women's Tag Team Championships. And they can't balance having a Blood and Guts, because that was announced as well and disappeared. It's been weeks since we've heard anything about that. They keep saying, Blood and Guts is this week. Blood and Guts, blah, 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 blah. They're not doing anything with it. Jamie Hayter laid out a challenge and then nothing came of that. You had Kyle O'Reilly pick up the victory over Jon Moxley via disqualification. Willow Nightingale, despite just losing her match, all smiles. She was out there for that. She was nowhere to be found for that last segment to help Harley Cameron, her tag team partner in the tournament. God forbid something happened to her via Mercedes Moné. And then also, how does this follow up an I Quit match with Darby Allin? Where Darby Allin literally said he's not done with Jon Moxley. His whole job is to take out the Death Riders. Here's Jon Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly. Wouldn't Darby immediately run down and try to fight Jon Moxley? How does that make sense? The match itself, Kyle O'Reilly controlled most of this. Not once did I think Kyle O'Reilly was winning this match, but at one point at the end of the match, Jon Moxley was locked in a submission. He holds onto the referee. He grabs the rope. The referee didn't call for a break or anything. Jon Moxley pops him in the face. That causes the DQ. I'm not saying that they tried to make it look like the referee was not going to do the rope break, or that's the reason why Jon Moxley punched him. Jon Moxley punched the referee because he refuses to quit ever again, it seems. I just thought that was goofy. You had the conglomeration rundown. You had the Death Rider show up. The win does not make Kyle O'Reilly look strong. It just makes Jon Moxley look like that, I don't know, baby. And then afterwards, you had the conglomeration beat the Death Riders. I'm glad that those two segments flowed into one another, but I also had zero interest in this match. Mark Briscoe was exciting in this match, but Darby Allin, again, how was he not in this segment? How does he not show up? I'm hunting the Death Riders, basically, and then he doesn't show up to hunt the Death Riders. It's only when Pac attacks afterwards. He joins in, Ishii joins in, John Moxley distracts Ishii, and then Marina Shafir low blows him. Kyle O'Reilly gets back into it. Darby Allin finally, when Claudio's about to do something, Darby Allin comes out, cuts his leg out with a baseball bat. If you're giving out hunting vibes, don't disappear for the whole show and only do that. After that, Kyle Fletcher came out. He was talking about beating Mark Briscoe. And despite just being beaten down in that last segment, here comes Mark Briscoe to refute what Kyle Fletcher said. He wants one more match. Don Callis said no. You had the main event. Okada picked up the victory over Bandito to retain the championship. I don't need to see Okada wrestle anymore at this point. A win over him in 2025 is nothing. A loss over Okada in 2025 makes you look weak. All 40 members of the Don Callis family came out afterwards to celebrate, as if they were celebrating an Invasion Angle win. And then Takeshita came out, stared Okada down. Obviously, again, slow build. They're going to happen. That's going to happen. So that's AEW Dynamite. Hey, Brandon, got any shout-outs?
Listen to Brandon's shout-outs, because when there's shout-outs, there's honey.
How to Train Your Dragon is getting the first shout-out. Did you see this film?
I did not, but I wanted to.
So
how is it?
It's out on Peacock now. I watched it. I was aware of the franchise, but I never ever saw any of those movies, like the animated versions before this new live action one.
Yeah.
And I thought this was really good. And it actually makes me more interested in the Isle of Berk in Epic Universe at Universal Studios. Prior to that, I was like, why the hell would I care about How to Train Your Dragon at Epic Universe or anything? This was a very well done movie. There's a sequel on the way, which I'll enjoy when it comes to Peacock, and I assume 2027. And there aren't any rumors or anything, but I'm going to hope that Drew McIntyre somehow gets cast in it. Gerard Butler reprised his role as the father from the animated films. So every time I would see Gerard Butler, I would be like, I think Drew McIntyre could 100% be in this movie. Mm-hmm. So I think it would be cool if there was a role or something for McIntyre. I would highly recommend seeing this movie. I'm actually kind of surprised that I never, given how big of like a Disney mark I am, I'm kind of surprised that I never went out of my way to see, even though it's not Disney, How to Train Your Dragon, because of how...
It seemed like a really good movie.
I mean, these movies were huge.
Yeah.
And I think there's 3 of them, so they have more than enough to work on for that sequel and maybe a 3rd film or something. My next shout out goes to Downey Wrote That, which is a new documentary also out on Peacock about Jim Downey. He wrote for over 30 seasons on Saturday Night Live. He also wrote for Late Night with David Letterman. I just think it's absolutely crazy how different he looks from when he was a writer on SNL to appearing as the principal in Billy Madison, and then to what he looks like now. And for Billy Madison, he wrote that whole part where he says everyone in the room is now dumber for having listened to that answer. He was also, I guess, he was crazily viral recently with the clip from Conan's podcast. I'm in wrestling mode right now. Talking about Epstein. You remember that clip that went viral everywhere?
That's funny, and I was thinking about Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah. But overall, I enjoyed the documentary. I think it's way too short. I could have used more. There were so many cool names in it, so I would have liked... It was only like an hour and 6 minutes or something like that. That's too short, I think, for a documentary. I think all those SNL documentaries that came out, even I think last year there was a few that came out, way too short. So I would say check that out. And then, unfortunately, last week, Ace Frehley passed away at the age of 74. He was a founding member of KISS. He wrote songs for them, Cold Gin, Parasite, Shock Me. His biggest hit was his cover of New York Groove from his self-titled Kiss album. I wish I got to see him live in concert. I've seen Kiss 3 times, but he left the band way before that, back in 2002. Back in 1999, he was part of Kiss performing on Nitro when they introduced the Demon to WCW.
That's pretty cool.
So it was very unfortunate that everything that like led up to that news and everything, that was very unfortunate.
Yeah, very sad. I mean, both you and I are fans of Kiss and everything that they've contributed to music. Yeah, very, very sad to see that take place. And our thoughts and condolences go out to his family and friends.
Yeah, go listen to Kiss this weekend. But those are my shout-outs. Now it's time for
Mark Out Moment of the Week.
That is right, our Mark Out Moment of the Week. I will say from Japan. WWE did the Japan tour recently, which, by the way, also I have to cut in before I even say it. Makes absolutely no sense how that world tour has not been updated in 2K25. It could change by the time this is out. I highly doubt that's going to happen. But, like, the next stop is Japan. It would have been like, hello, like, no-brainer. How is Japan not ready for when WWE happens to be in Japan? But WWE was on tour.
Yeah, that's true.
They were on tour in Japan. And I popped big time. Dominic Mysterio bought that Black Tiger 2 mask and he wore it out for his entrance. It was the Eddie Guerrero Black Tiger mask. So I thought that was really cool to see. AJ Styles had one of the coolest masks I've ever seen AJ Styles wear as well. The blue and black one. I thought that was dope. Mm-hmm. He had a whole like retirement ceremony almost. How is he not going to go back to Japan before? Like, WWE's not going to return before then? I don't know.
Yeah, that's. I guess maybe get it out of the way just in case. I mean, following them and everything that they were doing in Japan was just a lot of fun as well. Yeah, it's always very cool.
You have any other mark out moments?
I did see a bar, I believe, that was named Ricochet when I was in Kansas City. I took a picture of that and sent it over to you like a mark.
You did do that.
Yes, I did do that. I did not yeet at all. Yeah, no other mark out moments for me.
Well, I will say, I forgot to mention earlier this month when Henry Winkler was on The Tonight Show. He was on the same night as The Rock, and Jimmy Fallon had asked Henry Winkler if he spoke to The Rock about his movie, The One and Only, which he said they didn't, and I don't know how that's like, how is that not a topic? If you went and played like a Gorgeous George-esque character in a film, how are you not going to talk about that with The Rock? But the reason why I'm bringing up Henry Winkler now is because he met Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy posted a picture of him and Jeff at Big Texas Comic-Con with Henry Winkler, Anson Williams, and Donnie Most. They all posed with the TNA and NXT Tag Team Championships. And
I did mark out for that.
Seeing a picture like that, it just feels like a hug. Does that not?
Yeah, seeing everybody.
Yeah. And then he quote tweeted Matt Hardy and said, "Yes, I won that belt fair and square." So that was awesome to see Henry Winkler getting involved with pro wrestling again. It's been years. I mean, that movie came out decades ago at this point. I don't even think most people have seen it.
I did mark for that.
So I would also highly recommend watching the movie. If you've never seen The One and Only, that's funny that you brought up Ricochet. That's his like nickname. But but yeah, it was just cool seeing the Fonz with Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, two big parts of my childhood. Obviously, I spoke about it the other week. The Hardy Boys were a huge part of me watching pro wrestling. And then, of course, that whole like Nick at Night lineup, Happy Days was a huge part of my childhood. So it was really cool getting to see that stuff. But those are the Mark Out moments of the week. That is episode 768. Thank you so much for checking us out. You could follow us on Twitter at Markin Out, at BTTG161 on all platforms. Chris Sweendog, CM Sweeney85, David PTDPT on all platforms. Facebook.com/markingout, YouTube and Instagram markingout11, ProWrestlingTees.com/markingout, at markingout on TikTok. You could rate, review, subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, markingout.com, and we wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Have a